a new decade as the world's leader in motorsports coverage presents Speed World.
Jabroni. Jabroni.
Jabroni Cup fever. Catch it. Woo! Hell yeah!
All right, welcome back to Jabroni Cup action. We are getting ready to roll here at Dover Speedway. As you can see our qualifiers up there on top of the screen. We're going to have a quick malfunction for a second so we can get things back on top. There we go. This is Chet McGurk as usual with Tad Lowdermilk in the booth. Broadcasting remotely due to some inclement weather today. A little bit of ice out there, eh, Tad?
A lot.
A lot, yep. It has just been quite a bit. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing going. You can see our qualifiers. Jacob Parks, Justin Parks on the front row. Cole Parks, Chris Everett, second row. Third row, Cam Cockerham and Logan Parks. Fourth row, Pete Cool, Miles Parks. Fifth row, Chris Keene, EJ Lawler. And that's good enough to crank this thing up, eh, Ted? Just like that, we're ready to go racing, folks. Let's go ahead and get with our chase cam because it tells me this is going to be another grinder. After last night at, what was that, Richmond? Yeah, Richmond. We had a wild, crazy night there, Ted. We were resting up while these guys were banging into each other, banging and smashing. So let's see what happens here on the front row with Jacob Parks on the inside. Gets a good jump. Jason Parks a little delayed on his, but not very much, and he's going to duck down inside. Probably the best move you can make there, Ted. We got 100 laps, Ted. How about that? A nice even number. Something tells me we're going to see quite a few cautions. I think I remember this track being fairly heinous last season, but I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. We'll see. No one into the wall yet, but looked like Stinky B may have tagged it back there towards the back of the pack. Two Parks brothers off to a strong start. Cam Cockerham not that far behind back there. I think I'm going to be brave enough to go with our broadcast cameras, Tad. I don't know, I kind of like this. Jason Parks whipping right around brother Jacob on the inside. Takes that lead with ease, it looked like. I think we're going to stay in the chase so we can see what's going on back there, Tad. What do you think?
Yeah.
Because this way we get to keep an eye on the back of the field and the distance back there. But some clean racing to begin with. So we've got a pack of about 5 cars up here on the front. They've got a little bit of separation. Stacking up back there. We might take a quick look. Looks like we may have seen somebody get in the wall. Look like Dane Parks kind of tagging it a little bit, but at least it's not a smack. It's more of just a, I don't know, maybe sliding into the wall a little bit. Back around to the front, Jason Parks starting to pull away. Jacob Parks has maintained and got back up to second with Pete Cool, followed by Cam Cockerham and Drew Parks. And then Justin Parks starting to close that gap to that front pack. Lap 5 out of 100, off to a smooth start there, Ted. Now I think I'll get brave. See, there's established a nice little bit of distance between first and second. Oops. Let's take a look back. Third place, Pete Cool. Let us keep an eye on the cars in front and behind of him. The Mudcuts, Thunderbird. Everyone's just kind of settled in, Tad. Old Crocs running in fourth at the moment. Crank it in.
I thought that it said Cole Parks was in third place.
I think he was at the beginning, but he dropped back. Not sure. There's Drew Parks in 5th. Pete Cool going around teammate Jacob Parks on the inside. Amazing, these guys never seem to learn, do they? He makes the pass, and Coach Cam's going to tag along too, and Jacob Parks just steadily dropping as guys get on the inside and go right around. Coach Cam up to 3rd now. Drew Parks 4th. Jacob Parks 5th. Justin Parks up to 6th. JD up to 7th. Spider in 8th. Cole in 9th. Trying to hold off Luke. Can he do it? We'll stay here for a second and watch this battle. Nice clean race though, Tad. We're already at lap 11. This pace, we're gonna zoom right through this thing. Luke Parks right on his bumper, but not quite. Sniffing on the inside. He's gonna get him. Drifting high and slowing down is never a good thing. Jason Brown 11th with Brian Driggers just behind him. Mumby's hanging in there in 13th. Stinky Bennett seems like he's on the upswing. Didn't quite look to see where he started, but at the beginning of the race looked like he was pretty further back, so see what kind of day he can have. Chris Everett in 16th behind Stinky. Daryl Parks challenging. Chris Skeen 17th. Dane in 18th. Enjoy that view. Brogy in 19th. Rusty Hughes in 20th, but David Baird just got right around him, and it looks like he opened the barn doors, and everyone's get around 3 wide. Maybe a little contact between Mitch and EJ. It's hard to tell. Maybe a slight bump. Oh, Rubbin's racing, eh, Tad? Rusty Hughes not having the day he would like. Back of the pack at the moment. Come back around to our race leader. Maybe we'll bring up the stats just to see some of the splits, because these guys are just keeping it clean. So there we can see the breakdown of the field right now. Lap 15 so far. The wide shot really gives you a good sense of the gap that Jason Parks keeps expanding between himself and the rest of the field. We're still very early, though. Still a lot of racing left, Ed. A lot of racing and some pit stops yet to be had, so we'll see how it shakes out. But the 21's looking really good so far. Meanwhile, Drew Parks has made his way up to 2nd. He's having a nice little run here at the end of the season if he can continue on. I think he's too far out in the points to really have a chance, but, you know, the Flying Shambies certainly want to see all their drivers compete. JD up to 4th. Well, he must be in 3rd. We just haven't updated from start-finish yet. Yep, he's in 3rd. Pete Coulson 4th. Jacob Parks 5th, Spider up to 6th. Justin Parks dropped back to 7th. Maybe Luke up to 9th. Oh, up to 8th. He must have just passed Coach Cam. Cole Parks kind of out in no man's land between packs of cars. See if he can bridge that gap. Miles Parks up to 11th. Cycle through and get back around to the front. You know what? Dane Parks trying to fend off Brown Eye. He's too known to have tempers. But a day of clean racing up here at Dover. It's going to try to squeeze past. Getting real close there, but no contact. Keeping it clean, keeping it classy. But Brown Eye seems to lose control a little bit, drift outside, and that's going to cost him a lot of track position. So Jason Parks now with just over about a 1.25 lead between him and the new second place runner, JD. See if JD can catch up. Drew dropping back a little bit, falling off the pace. Meanwhile, Spider charging hard to the front. He's been moving and shaking, Tad. He might be fastest car out there at the moment just by the amount of positions he's picked up. We'll see what happens with the In-N-Out Burger. Leads the league and wins, but just can't put it together with consistency. I think last was he in 10th or 9th in points. I'm not sure. We haven't got a new tabulation yet, but he's gotta have more consistent runs if he wants to win the points championship. Teammate Jacob Parks behind him, and then another teammate, Pete Cool, back to 6th behind him with Justin Parks challenging Pete Cool, trying to get around, taking a sniff to the inside. We're at lap 25 already, Tad. So we're 1/4 of the way done up here at Dover. No real contact yet. No accidents whatsoever. Let's see if these guys can continue the clean racing. Maybe somebody throws a monkey wrench in there at some point. Give them a little excitement, eh, Tad?
Yeah.
A little bit of a snoozer, eh? So JD Sides is closing that gap. Looking at our splits up there, he's only about 1/8 of a 10th second behind. So he's shaving off time. Interesting to see what Spider's doing because he has been charging up through the field. Might as well open the old stats since right now the product on the track is a little bit on the sleepy end, eh? So Luke Halton almost 2.7 by out of the lead. See if he makes up any ground. Keep an eye on all of them. Right now, JD is really making up time. Definitely looks like he's the fastest car out there at the moment. See if he can catch up to a race leader. Jason Parks, we might as well check the info on the track. So 22.5 is the NASCAR record. Meanwhile, JD Sides has smashed it at 21.4. Once again, Jabroni Cup proving itself supreme over the other racing series that shall not be named. So we'll go back out there and see if JD can continue to gain ground on race leader Jason Parks. Lap 30 of 100. This guy's just ticking off the laps. Keeping their nose to the grindstone. Be interesting to see once we start pitting what happens there, Tad. Maybe that'll wake things up a little bit. JD now just a little over half a second. 0.4 of a second now behind the leader. At this rate, he's got about 4 or 5 more laps before he catches up if he can keep up this pace. Yep, he just gained about 1/10 of a second on that lap. Unless our stats hadn't updated, he stayed the same. So he might not have enough to catch up. Let's take a look through the field. Drew Parks in 3rd, hanging back, pretty far back there. Meanwhile, Spider's still in 4th, trying to gain ground. Take a look at our wide shot here just to give us a better idea of how spread out the field is at the moment, Ted. See our two race 1 and 2 positions up there. Not a lot of racing going on, just guys putting in good laps. It's Dover, everybody. It's Dover. Meanwhile, JD Sodds just can't get over that 0.4 of a second difference. See what happens when he comes around. Looks like nothing, about the same. So, everyone's kind of locked in there, Ted. Just going to ride the snake. Hope for some action when people start pitting. Maybe somebody just decides to ram someone or something to wake things up around here. Drew Park still holding steady in third. Spider behind him. Yeah, just watch from the end of pit road as everyone goes by. Just an odd race. Everyone's single file. Not a lot of dueling going on. Just putting in quick laps. Kind of a snoozer there, Tad. Get your pillows, folks. We'll let you know if something exciting happens. We're on lap 39. Still no pits yet. Gotta be happening sooner than later. Hanging out behind the In-N-Out burger car of old Spider. At this point, we could really use a caution just to get everybody back together and make some magic happen. This is looking like the olden days of the other racing series. Now we're getting some pits. Jacob Park's going to stay out there. Not sure what he's thinking, but why not at this point? Same for Justin Parks and Coach Cam. A lot of race left. Certainly another pit. They made it to 40 laps. Then there's going to be another pit stop after this, but that should be all it takes. So race leader Jason Parks still in the pits, but Chris Skeen comes out. I don't know how he beat him that bad. So we'll stay with Jason Parks since he was our race leader before the pit stops began. See what happens once everyone gets back out onto the track. Cycle through pit lane. Our stats up there on the screen for the moment. As we are on lap 42 out of 100. Kind of a snoozer, Tad. So Jacob Parks, the official race leader at the moment, but he is not pit yet, so once that group of cars comes in, things should cycle back through. It looks like the cutoff's at probably 10th position. There we go. Now everyone's cycling through. Although on our screen, Chris Skeen made it out ahead of Jason Parks. Don't know. Or maybe he just, I bet he was in, I don't know, Tad. I don't know if it's the pit lane where you have to go around the turn on pit lane to get to the other pits. Probably could be the case there. But we don't know. We're just along for the ride. Well, if this holds, Drew Parks now moves up to second. With Luke Halton in third. Luke Parks in fourth. Chris Skeen in fifth. Jacob Parks in sixth. Justin Parks seventh. Miles Parks eighth. Old Crocs in 9th and Pete Cole in 10th, but Just a lot of guys spread out, Tad. Maybe not the most exciting race, but can't have the peaks without the valleys. Pace car. Tell you, Ted, I wish we could just have a static cam up above the track and leave it for a while. Jason Brown not making the 17 pit stops that he did last race was a strange phenomenon. Rusty Hughes, Chris Everett almost into the rear, trying to poke back to the outside. We'll stay here since somebody's doing something finally, but Chris Everett slows way down. Oh, we've got a caution. Whoa, pace car just dives onto the track. Audi has to take evasive measures to get around, but with our Power Morph technology, he didn't have to worry about, whoa, what is EJ Lawler doing? He is cutting some grass. We will follow up and see what happened there. Finally, something happened. He's got some significant damage. It's guys. Looks like guys merging back onto the track, and whoa! Oh, this was much bigger. Spider Halton involved in that. Numerous cars. EJ and Wes. Wow, what happened here? Wes gets into the rear end of EJ and then takes it for a ride, and then they're just blocking most of the track. Jason Parks avoids it. So does Drew, but Spider not so lucky. That was a major collision. That's going to hurt that in and out car. Luke dives way down into the grass but avoids most of the trouble, it looks like. Seeing some of the guys down through the grass, which was the play to make. Let's take a look at what happened with Spider. Look, thought he had it and just couldn't make it through there. Just nowhere to go. I mean, two cars perpendicular to the flow of traffic blocking most of the track, so we're seeing everybody make a break through the grass. I would really be surprised if the in-and-out car makes it back onto the track, but you never know. Looks like most everyone else made it through, though, after that initial contact. Good old Croc's weaving. Miles Parks sneaks through. So let's get back around to our race leader and get caught up to our live feed, Dad. So we just hit 50 laps halfway through. Finally seeing a little bit of action. I'll take a crash because we needed something. We haven't had many people passing. It's just been everyone strung out. Get caught up to the live feed and throw the stats up there and see if anyone's out of the race after that one. So that's going to do it for Luke Halton, for Wes, for EJ Lawler. Josh Bennett still listed down there low. He could possibly be done for the day also. Not the day those guys wanted. I think EJ Lawler and old Wes may be having some words down there in the pits, because that was not a very pretty incident. But we're going to get ready to restart. We got Stinky B, JD, and Justin down there on the inside line. Let's take another quick look real quick and see. Yeah, there's the drivers that are down a lap or more. We'll see if they get a good jump or if they start to clog up the front of the pack, as we're on lap 52 out of 100. Tad, you still awake over there, bro?
Almost.
Yeah, almost. I hear you. Not been the most exciting of races, but gonna power through it. Good look at the Avengers Thunderbird and the Irish Spring Lumina up front. Gotta be getting ready to go green here in a minute for them to be stacked up. Will any of those drivers on the inside actually be able to get in front of Jason Parks is the question. We'll see. 21's been strong today, though. And we're off. We're going to stay with the chase cam to see if any shenanigans happen back there behind the leaders. Stinky Bennett and JD with a great start, but Justin Parks with an awful start. Just drifting backwards, holding up that inside line. Stinky Bennett, though, is going to get back around. Hard charging to get back on that lead lap. He is determined, folks, but Jason Parks drifting outside, slowing down, too. Oops, wrong button. We're stacking up here. But that's a big start for JD and Stinky to give them a shot and stay on the lead lap. Maybe Luke up to, I believe, first, but I don't know. We're going to see. Man, it's getting a lot of shuffling going on. When we get to the start-finish line, we'll see. No one into the wall, about as close as you can get, but not into it. So who is trying to find the race leader here? Okay, it finally reset. It was just our stats were delayed. So Drew Parks, new race leader. Miles Parks. Oh, Jacob Parks into the wall. Looked like a long width. Came back and hit Jason Parks into, is that skiing? Quick cycle through the field. Probably so. Doesn't look like there's too much damage there, but some unhappy drivers for sure. Drew Parks still hauling that lead. We'll wait till we cross start finish and officially go under the yellow flag to take a look back at what happened. Looked like Jacob Parks may have hit the outside wall or came back into Jason. We'll see. Ooh! Oh, Chris Everett and Brown Eye getting together after the caution was thrown. Chris Everett, not the type to fool around.
He's probably going to make another caution right after the caution.
Yeah, I think it'll be covered by the same one, fortunately, but that's why we typically like to wait and take a look and see what happens. These guys don't like to play around when it comes to stacking up under caution.
Oh, wow. Everyone is going into pits.
So let's take a look back at from Jason Parks' perspective on that accident. Coming out of the turn, we're going to see the Black Zardoz Thunderbird enter the frame here. Actually, let's move up. Oops, not like that. So yeah, he gets in the wall and Jason gets into him. And then everyone goes into skiing. Pretty hard hit on the inside wall for both of those drivers, but doesn't look too catastrophic. Really wouldn't want to be on the other end of that radio in the Chris Skeen car, in the Chris Skeen team. Let's take a look at what happened afterwards, though, with Jason Brown and Chris Everett. So we're still racing to the start-finish here. Chris Everett just decides to move Jason Brown out of the way. Okay, they've crossed the start-finish, so they should be under the caution. Yeah, I think maybe Brown, I know he's not going for the pit, but either way, he's impolitely moved out of the way by a chief. So there you have it. Well, let's catch up to our live feed. Things getting a little spicier here to start the second half of the race. We're on lap 58 at the moment. Still fast forwarding through to catch back up to live 59. So let's bring up our Statron 6000. So Drew Parks holding on to the lead for the moment. Cam Cockerham in second. Miles Parks up to third. Jacob Parks in fourth. Cole Parks in fifth. Luke Parks sixth. Pete Cool 7th. David Baird up to 8th. Wow, that's interesting. Chris Everett 9th. And Rusty Hughes up to 10th. So, apparently, JD is a minute behind. That's a weird way. Usually, once our stats reset, must be lapped for the moment. EJ Lawler, Spider, and West, the only drivers out at the moment. So we're going to see Justin Parks and Stinky Bennett make their way back up to the front of the field for the restart. Catastrophic start for Justin Parks on the last green flag. It looked like he was going backwards, where Stinky Bennett just shot out of there and actually got out ahead of everyone else. Man, with a car that fast, you got to wonder what's going on to not be able to corral that thing into a decent track position, eh, Tad?
Yeah.
We just hit lap 60, so we're on the downward slope of this race. All right, I don't see Stinky B anywhere. Maybe he's in the pits. Who knows? Either way, we should be going green here shortly. I don't think I see him back there, so he must still be in the pit. Certainly is a pretty day out there in Dover for a race. It's blue, sunny skies. Come around, we're going to hit lap 61, folks, here at Dover. Jabroni Cup Racing. There we go, green flag. Justin Parks just has no one to help him on the inside, so he's going to drop back a bit. Cam Cochran with a power move down to the inside. Just turbos right around Drew. Drew's got to get to the inside to try to hold on. Still up too high. His floodgates are going to open. Jacob Parks coming right around. Brother Cole Parks battling Luke. Three cars wide back there. Miles, Cole, and Luke. Can they hold it? They do. Luke is also moving up pretty quick, moving and shaking. Drew Parks' team has got to be telling him to get back into the low line, the inside track. You're blowing it, bro. You're blowing it. Meanwhile, Croc's our new race leader out there with Jacob Parks just behind him. Gonna be right there in his hip pocket, and he's going to dive to the inside. Thought about it, took a sniff, but it's not a not to yet. Luke Parks in third, Miles Parks fourth. Drew has dropped to fifth, with Brother Cole Parks behind him in sixth. Let's move back up to the front and see what happens. Jacob Parks diving down on the inside of Croc's. He's going to have it as Croc's drifts way too high in that turn, loses a lot of speed. Going to open the door for Luke Parks to possibly get around him. Not quite yet, but he's still there knocking on the door, Tad. Looks like Drew Parks is starting to regroup back there. Miles staying too wide. Can't be the 3 and the 3 wide on this track. So just like that, Luke Parks going to challenge Crocs for second. Take an eye on that battle. It's good to see some battling for position, eh, Tad? We've had kind of a snoozer the first half of the race. Luke Parks goes right around. Goldfish car looking really good coming out of the turns at the moment. Meanwhile, Drew Parks rebounding quite nicely. Going to challenge Crocs. JD's lap traffic. Race leader Jacob Parks gets around him. Could help him out a little bit and provide a barrier for anyone else trying to get up there to the front. Drew Parks sniff. Oh, we've got a caution. Quick look around. And that doesn't look good for Brogy. Don't see anybody else involved. That is some serious damage to the front end of that Bojangles Biscuit mobile. May have let the biscuits get a little too dry today. Looked like he got maybe a little love tap from Rusty Hughes. Coming around. Looks like Brogy's holding his line pretty consistently, and Rusty Hughes just slides into him and turns him around. A little sideways grindage, but maybe not too bad. I'll just buff it out and get right back out there and get to racing again. It's going to be a good enough look back, so let's get to the race leader and try to catch back up to our live feed. We're on lap 67, so this thing is working its way out. We're going to head to the pits again for at least a large percentage of the pack. we're live. Let's throw the Statron 6000 up there. Race leader at the moment is Mitch McGurk. Part of that group of cars that did not come into the pits. So we'll see what happens on this restart. Going to be interesting. Lap 68. Those guys are going to have to pit at some time, but will the crafty maneuver pay off is the question. Start to work our way back up to the front now. Old Mitch in first. I haven't seen that very much this year, have we, Tad? Old Pikachu mobile. Just cruising for a bruising. Speaking of which, Brian Jigger's right behind him. Had that stretch of about 2 or 3 races where he was really a loose cannon. May have had a talking to by Jabroni Cup administrators. We don't know the specifics, but it certainly seems to have calmed down after that. More stats up again and see Logan Parks. It looks like he's just going to be a lap down, but still in the race. You never know. Get back out there and get some points for some laps, and maybe you get another caution and get back on the lead lap, you know. It's all about the points, Tad. So we're on lap 69 out of 100. We're getting there. There's some minor shenanigans for what overall has been a pretty clean race. See if old Mitch can hold on up there in the front of the field, but at some point he's going to have to pit. You know, I think it's worth the sacrifice to get some laps led when you didn't really have a shot to begin with. Why not? Why not go for some glory, eh, Ted? So we'll be able to tell once we get free pass cars around, which look like it'll be Justin Parks and JD and Stinky Bennett. He's back out there. I say last time he was still in the pits. All right, so we're gonna get ready to go green. Gonna see if that inside line can do anything. Mitch, Brian Driggers, Jason Brown, and trying to tell who that other car is without having to change camera views because that'll be a restart. Actually, let's go back real quick. That's old Rusty Hughes up to 4th, but once again, believe he's in that group of cars that did not pit. So at some point, they're going to have to come in. So we're coming around to get the green flag on this start-finish, we hope. Good look at the cars up front. Some new or slightly tweaked looks this year. Bad start again for the Dukes Mayonnaise cars. He goes backwards and they're going to clog up that inside and help Mitch and Brian Driggers power down to the inside. Let's see what happens between these two characters. Brian Jigger's not one usually to be patient with anyone in front of him. So we'll see what happens. He gets right around the Pokemon olds. Oops, wrong button. So our new race leader, Brian Driggers, number 10, the Fatal Fury Ford Thunderbird. Oh, Mitch, hey, there's a pace car. Oh, Mitch behind him. Rusty Hughes in 3rd, but gonna go ahead and take that pit. So Stinky B's still 20th. So race leader in 2nd place, Brian and Mitch, out in front quite a bit until they have to turn it in and pit. Jason Brown also in that same situation. Stinky B up there fighting, trying to get around to get back on the lead lap. Jacob Parks in 4th. We've got Dane in 7th at the moment, according to our stats. JD in 18th. Audi in 8th. Inside line really wants to get going, and looks like he's holding him up. Cole Parks says, hey man, I'm out of here, bro. Well, so I thought, but Audi picks up some speed on the outside, but not for very long. Good gosh, jailbreak. So it's going to be interesting to see how long these guys up front stay out. So Mitch and Brian Driggers, how long can they hold out, Tad, before they have to go in and get some gas? That is the question. He's cruising for a bruising. Stinky B. Lap down, but looks like his car is running pretty well, pretty quick. Dane Parks in 4th. Cole in 5th. Pete in 6th. Darrell Parks in 8th. Audi in 9th. Chris Skeen in 10th with Miles Parks breathing down his bumper. Looks like he really wants to get around. Drew Parks back there taking a look on the inside, but not enough. Not enough momentum to get around, but Miles Parks is going to get him this time. Running in 9th place for Miles Parks, who had a great second half of last season, but this season just hadn't been able to put it together. He is in the top 10 in points, so possibly within striking distance. Cole Parks going to make a move on Dane. Get right around him. Also going to bring Pete Cool and Darrell Parks right with him. Dane Parks tries to get back down, just nowhere to go. Those guys are locked up, and Audi's going to link up with them too. Dane Parks gets railroaded up there. Take that outside line, and you're signing up for disaster. Meanwhile, Jacob Parks closed the gap on old Mitch. Brian Jiggers, though, still way out ahead. But again, these guys are going to have to pit at some point unless they pull off a miracle. I don't know how that would work, Tad. Zardos Thunderbird's looking fairly fast at the moment. Can he hold it together, though? In 3rd. Well, 2nd now. Then he passed Mitch. Brian Jiggers out in front in the lead still. We're on lap 81 out of 100. Closing in on the end. We can see it in sight, Tad. Ooh. I think that was all Mitch. Oh! Oh, I hit the wrong button because I took my hand off the controls for 2 seconds. And it looked like Mitch had a major problem, mechanical issue, as we saw smoke come out of his car and just drop back. And I guess that loss of speed caused somebody to hit him. We're going to go back and check it out here shortly. Just a bad way to end the day for the Mitch Pokemon car. Because he was doing a pretty good job up there, even though he was still all dependent on pitting. Can't even find him. They may have already taken him back. There we go. I could see that just at the back of the frame. He was driving by himself solo in clean air and just saw, you know, the black smoke come out of that car, and that's never a good sign. Let's see. Oh, there it is. And he tried to get inside. Cole Parks just right into his rear end. Just stacking up drivers back there. Oh, Mitch, you gotta take a much easier angle, bro. Racked up cars. Let's take a look at our helicopter view for the fans at home. So right there, he's trying to get to the inside, but his spotter's got to tell him there is traffic coming. Cole Parks just kind of not sure where to go. Gets into the back of that Pokemon car. Then, David Baird plows into him. Drew Parks plows into him, ruining a good run for him.
David Baird went like sideways.
This is a good view of the carnage. Chris Skeen also going to hit little Drew.
And JD too.
Yep. See, Jason Parks looks like he's going to ease on through there. The cars had stopped rolling by that point, but just a bad decision leads to quite the stack up out there. Jeez. Cars everywhere. Feel for Drew Parks. He was putting together a nice run. And then this happens and your nice run goes away. So let's get caught up to our live feed. Trying to work our way back through the field here. So we're lap 85. We're closing in on the end. This has been a quite a marathon, Tad. 100 laps. You're gonna get your money's worth. Because now we got the inside line. Let's pull up the stats real quick. This is Drew Parks out, Mitch out, Chris Skeen out, David Baird out, Logan Parks out, and the guys that already were. So the attrition continues to mount. So we're gonna get ready to go live here. Get ready to go green here momentarily. Let's see if Stinky Bennett's had some great restarts today. Let's see if he can keep that up. Of course, how many was he? 1 or 2 laps behind? He is 2 laps behind, so at this point it's all about pride for the Irish Spring. Hashtag good stank Chevy Lumina. So we're coming around. We're on lap 86. Looks like we'll go green on 87. Closing in on the end of this thing. Race leader Jacob Parks not want to race this year. Maybe he makes today his first. Did lead the points for about 10 races without winning, but has not been able to put together the sorts of races he needs. Justin Parks, another bad restart back there. We can see that yellow Duke's Mayonnaise car holding up traffic. Just not having a very good drive today. Stinky Bennett right up there too. Take a quick look back. Oops. Pete Cool in second at the moment. Got around Daryl Parks, is now in third. Everyone's kind of spaced out here. Lap 88. Closing in on the end of this thing, Tad. Pete Cool in second. I think he'd be up there fighting, but in 15th. This could be a good day for McCorkles if they can hold it together, but only lost 1 car. But at this point, I don't think it's going to make a difference when it comes to the team standings. I think Deep Fried is about untouchable at this point. Watching Crocs trying to get around Miles Parks. He's going to do it. Fair amount of ease there. Rusty Hughes back there moving and shaking. Brian Drigger's powering through that turn. Had a lot of momentum and had to ease off. He could get around if he can keep that up. He could be moving up through the field. JD's in 13th up there, clogging things up a bit. Dane Parks in 4th. Daryl Parks in 3rd. Pete Cool 2nd. Stinky Bennett could be the barrier that Jacob Parks needs to hold off oncoming traffic. Gotta hold on to this lead in lap 91 out of 100. So we'll see if they can finish the race under green. What do you think, Tad? Do you think we're going to see another caution? Yeah. Oh, same here. Who knows at this point? So he's got about a just over 0.6 of a second lead over Pete Cool in second, with Stinky Bennett being a stopgap at the moment, a firewall. We'll keep an eye back here and see what happens. Lap 90 out of 100. 91 actually now as they cross the start finish. Right now, Jacob Parks has got to hope that they stay under green so he can hold on to that slight lead that he's got. We're going to work our way back and see if anyone else is back there. If anyone's putting up any sort of fights. Dane Parks going to try to hold on to 4th. Brian Jigger is creeping up on him, though. Creeping up. Getting inside. going to be all she wrote. Wow, look at the momentum of that Fatal Fury T-Bird coming out of the turn. Question is, can he translate that to the rest of the race? We're on lap 94. He's still got a pretty long ways to go. Let's check back up front. Stinky Bennett still fighting. Jacob Parks has got to be very happy about having Stinky back there. Just being a big road bump for everybody else. As it looks like now the lead is up to 6.4 or 0.64 seconds. A little bit of breathing room. Lap 96. Pete Cool's going to make the move to get around Stinky B. Looks like he's got him. He does. Brian Drigger's going to ride the snake too, and look at that. He's going to power through and try to get around Pete Cool. Can he do it? On the straights, they're about even, but on the curves, that Fatal Fury Thunderbird is tough. Does he have enough momentum? Running out of laps on lap 97. Boy, that Drigger's car is moving, though, I'll tell you. I'm going to stay with the chase cam to see what happens to this gap. 98. There is a... Waiting for our stats to update. And they're not. Still showing Pete Cool in second, but that is not right. Brian Drigger's absolutely blown by him. He is catching up very fast. 99. He has got the speed to make this happen. I'm going to stay right here with this look. This is going to be the best look we have. Our stats are still a bit behind as we're getting ready to hit the white flag with Brian Driggers getting right up to that Zardoz Thunderbird. How much of a fight will he put up? We're on the final lap, folks. He has got to stay low, and he's not going to. Brian Driggers has got the door wide open. He's going to take it. Parks just can't hold on. That fatal, look at that. He just checked up, and that's going to be all she wrote. Brian Driggers is going to be her race winner, folks. How about that? Disappointing day for Jacob Parks. Yet another snatches defeat from the jaws of victory. Let's go back through. Pete Cool's going to hold on for third. Gerald Parks in fourth. Dane Parks up to fifth. So let's see what our final stats are going to be. Everyone comes around. Quite a few drivers retired early. See how that shakes out with the point standings. There you have it. Brian Drigger's your race winner. Justin Parks still in the points lead, but Pete Cool has moved up a tie for second place between Pete Cool and Cole Parks. How about that, sports fans? That's going to be some interesting drama down the final stretch of the season with Jason Parks in fourth, Chris Geen in fifth, Jacob Parks up to sixth, Darrell Parks 7th, Miles Parks dropping to 8th, Rusty Hughes 9th, and Luke Parks in 10th. So that's going to do it from Dover, sports fans. Jabroni Cup action. You can smell it coming, can't you, Tad?